There are moments in life when it feels as if peace is always one step away, as if calmness lives somewhere just beyond the next goal, the next plan, the next perfectly controlled outcome. The mind whispers that everything will finally feel right when things are managed just so, when people behave the way we wish, when nothing unexpected happens. Yet, in that constant effort to control life, something inside becomes weary. It is like tightening a rope so much that it starts to fray. We try to keep things together, to hold the world steady, but the harder we grasp, the less we can breathe. Deep within, there is a gentle voice calling for release, for the comfort of simply being, for the freedom of peace. This voice is not weak, it is wise. It knows that we were never meant to live in tension. We were meant to live in flow. Life was never designed to be perfectly managed. It was meant to be experienced, moment by moment, heartbeat by heartbeat. When control becomes the goal, peace becomes the price. We forget that peace is our natural state, not something to earn. It's not found in rearranging circumstances, but in allowing life to unfold. When we stop trying to predict every outcome, we begin to see how beautifully things can fall into place on their own. There is a deep intelligence that guides life, a divine rhythm that knows exactly what to do. The flowers don't force themselves to bloom, and the sun doesn't struggle to rise. Everything happens in perfect timing, and that same wisdom moves through us too. So many of us were taught that safety comes from managing everything, from making sure everyone is happy, every plan is certain, every path is secure. But safety doesn't come from control. True safety comes from trust. Trust in life, trust in ourselves, trust in the love that created us. Peace begins the moment we choose to stop fighting the flow of life and instead rest in it. When we allow things to be as they are, without the weight of fear or expectation, a gentle calm fills the heart. We start to feel guided, supported, protected. The mind quiets, the body softens, and we remember that peace was never gone. It was only buried beneath layers of worry. Every time we choose peace over control, we give life permission to bless us in ways we could never have planned. We open the door to miracles. Sometimes letting go feels uncomfortable because the mind doesn't know what will happen next, but the soul smiles in those moments. It knows that the unknown is where magic begins. It knows that life is not falling apart. It is unfolding exactly as it should. The need to control is a habit born from fear, but peace is a choice born from love. And love is always stronger. There is a quiet strength in surrender, not the kind that gives up, but the kind that trusts deeply. It says, I am willing to let life guide me. It understands that peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of trust. When we release our grip and breathe, we begin to sense that everything is already working for our highest good. The burden lifts and the heart expands. It's as if the whole universe exhales with us. Peace flows where control once lived, and that is where true healing begins. Inside every human being, there is a gentle battle, a quiet tug between the mind and the spirit. The mind says, I must hold on. The spirit whispers, let go. The mind believes safety comes from control, but the spirit knows safety comes from trust. This is the tension that shapes so many of our days. It shows up in small ways, in the tight shoulders, in the clenched jaw, in the restless thoughts that never seem to stop. The body carries the story of control. It remembers the times we've tried to make everything perfect, to predict every possible outcome, to guard against pain. It holds that tension until we decide to release it. Think of a hand held in a fist. The longer it stays closed, the more it aches. The muscles grow tired, the fingers stiffen. The relief only comes when we finally open the hand and let it rest. This is what happens inside us when we stop trying to control everything. The body relaxes, the breath deepens, and peace gently returns. The truth is, we don't need to make life happen. Life is already happening for us. The more we trust this, the softer we become. And in that softness, we find strength. Control often feels like protection, but it is really fear wearing armor. The mind says, if I can control it, I won't get hurt. Yet peace doesn't come from avoiding hurt. It comes from knowing we can handle whatever comes. When we trust ourselves and the flow of life, fear loses its power. The heart opens again. It begins to speak through intuition, those quiet inner nudges that say, this way, not that. When we follow those nudges, even when they make no sense, we step into harmony with life's rhythm. And in that rhythm, control is no longer needed. It is important to understand that peace does not mean passivity, it means presence. It means doing what we can with love and then letting life take care of the rest. When we live this way, we are no longer fighting the current, we are moving with it. The body begins to heal, the mind begins to rest. Even the smallest worries lose their weight. We start to see how often life supports us, how many times we've been guided without even realizing it. Every breath becomes a reminder, I am safe to trust. I am supported by something far greater than fear. Try this simple affirmation whenever the need to control arises. I choose to trust that life supports me. Say it softly until the body begins to believe it. Let it sink deep into your being. You'll notice that as trust grows, the need for control fades. You may not know how everything will work out, but you'll start to sense that it will. That is peace. It is not a future promise. It is a present choice. Each time you breathe into trust, you return home to yourself. Control often takes root in fear, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of being hurt, the fear of losing what feels safe. There was a time when control may have felt like the only way to survive. Perhaps it helped create structure when life felt chaotic. Perhaps it gave a sense of power when things felt unstable. But now, what once protected may be limiting. It's like building a fortress for safety, only to realize that the walls also keep out love, joy, and flow. There is no need to judge that part of yourself that clings to control. It's only a younger part of your being, one that learned long ago that safety depended on managing everything. It doesn't need rejection, it needs understanding. Each time you feel anxious when things are uncertain, you can gently place a hand over your heart and say, it's okay. You are safe now. This soft voice of self-compassion begins to calm the nervous system. The body relaxes, the heart begins to trust again. When we start to see control as a form of fear rather than strength, we become free to choose differently. We begin to recognize how control keeps us in constant alertness, how it robs us of rest. It makes us plan for things that might never happen and worry about outcomes that don't exist. This constant vigilance exhausts the soul. But there's another way, a gentler way, where peace is the guide. It starts by noticing the moments when the need to control arises. Awareness is healing. When you pause and breathe, you create space between the thought and the reaction. In that space, peace begins. Try writing down what control feels like in your life. You might journal, when do I feel most afraid of letting go? Allow the words to flow without judgment. You may be surprised by what appears. Often beneath control lies a tender longing, a longing to feel safe, loved, and supported. When you acknowledge this, you begin to meet yourself with kindness. You stop battling life and start embracing it. Control begins to soften, and peace quietly takes its place. The more you observe without reacting, the more trust grows. You may start to see that life has always carried you, even through the hardest times. The things you thought would break you often brought you deeper strength. The plans that didn't work out led to blessings you couldn't have imagined. Control tries to prevent pain, but trust transforms it. That is where healing truly happens. There's something deeply powerful about admitting, I don't have to control everything to be safe. In that simple truth lies immense freedom. You can breathe again, you can rest, you can allow life to move and still know that you are okay. Each day, try to release one small thing, one worry, one expectation, one fear. Let it go gently, like placing a leaf into a river and watching it drift away. You will see that peace doesn't need to be chased. It appears naturally when control fades. Peace is not something to find, it's something to allow. And slowly, moment by moment, life begins to feel lighter. Things that once seemed overwhelming begin to move with ease. People respond differently. The body feels more open. The heart smiles more often. This is the beauty of surrender. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the realization that you were never meant to carry the entire world in your hands. You were meant to trust the hands that carry the world. And in that trust, you remember, you were never meant to live in constant control. You were meant to be at peace. Life has a natural rhythm, and when we stop fighting it, everything begins to make sense again. There is a quiet wisdom that lives in the very fabric of existence, the same wisdom that turns a seed into a flower, the same rhythm that makes the tides move and the stars return each night. This is the flow of life. It does not need to be pushed, hurried, or controlled. It only asks that we learn to move with it. When we try to control this flow, it's as if we are standing in a river trying to push the water upstream. The more we struggle, the more resistance we feel. Yet the moment we let go, we are carried. The current knows exactly where to go. Life is not trying to work against us. It wants to support us, but it cannot move through tight hands and tense hearts. The need to control often blocks the very blessings we are asking for. When we insist that things must happen a certain way, we limit the universe's infinite possibilities. But when we say, I am open to what life brings, the universe breathes again. The energy around us begins to soften. We notice signs, coincidences, new doors opening effortlessly. What once felt heavy begins to feel guided. The flow of life always leads us where we need to be, even when it doesn't look the way we expected. To live in flow is to live in faith. It means trusting that there is a divine order beneath what seems chaotic. Even when things appear uncertain, life is always adjusting itself for our highest good. Think of a tree that bends with the wind. If it refused to bend, it would break. But its flexibility is its strength. When we become like that tree, grounded yet willing to sway, peace becomes our natural state. The heart becomes light, and we begin to move through life with grace. You might gently whisper this affirmation to yourself. I am safe when I allow life to unfold. Let it be a daily reminder. Say it when you wake, when you feel tension rise, when things don't go your way. Feel the truth in those words settle into your heart. Every time you say it, you are teaching your mind to relax. You are telling your body it no longer needs to fight the current. You are remembering that peace is not control. It is cooperation with the divine rhythm that already knows what to do. The flow of life is generous. It gives us everything we need when we stop trying to force what we want. It's not about giving up desires. It's about trusting that they will come in the right way and at the right time. When we live this way, gratitude naturally grows. We begin to see that even the detours were blessings, even the delays were protection. Nothing is ever truly lost in the flow of life. it simply transforms. What feels like an ending is often a quiet beginning. The current never stops moving forward, and when we trust it, we move forward with it, in peace, not in struggle. Letting go is one of the most powerful acts of self-love we can offer ourselves. It's not a single act, it's a practice, one that invites us to release again and again until peace becomes our natural state. So often we carry things long after their time has passed, old worries, painful memories, things we wish we had done differently. These are like stones in a bag we've been holding for years. Each one adds weight, and we wonder why we feel so tired. The truth is, we were never meant to carry so much. Life becomes lighter when we choose to set things down. Releasing control is not the same as losing care. It's caring in a healthier way, one that honors both the mind and the soul. When we let go, we don't abandon responsibility, we release resistance. We do our part and allow life to do the rest. Think of your breath. You inhale, then exhale. You don't cling to the air. You trust that the next breath will come. Letting go is like that. It's trusting that what's meant for you will find you again, and it will, with even more grace than before. You can practice this release at any moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and with each exhale, softly whisper, "I release." Let each word move through your body like a wave washing away tension. Feel the shoulders drop, the chest open, the heart soften. This is not a ritual of loss. It's a returning to peace. Each exhale clears space for love to enter again. And in that space, you'll feel something miraculous: freedom. Life often surprises us most beautifully when we stop trying to control how it unfolds. Sometimes the very thing we let go of is what circles back transformed. Sometimes the door we thought closed was only guiding us to a better one. We don't have to understand every twist and turn. The universe has a far greater view of our path than we do. Letting go simply means trusting that higher wisdom. When we do, life flows smoother. The people we need arrive at the right time. The opportunities that match our truth appear effortlessly. It's as if the whole world begins to work in harmony with us. Every act of letting go strengthens our inner peace. It teaches the nervous system that safety doesn't depend on control. It shows the mind that peace doesn't come from knowing every answer. It comes from knowing that we are guided. This is the deeper truth behind surrender. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's a partnership with the flow of life rather than a fight against it. Each time you release something small, a worry, a plan, an expectation, you create more space for joy. And as that space expands, you begin to live in the rhythm of grace itself. When we release fear, we make room for trust. Fear and trust cannot live in the same space. One must give way to the other. Fear says, "I must control everything to be safe." Trust says, "I am safe even when I don't know what will happen next." And every time we choose trust, we dissolve a little more fear. We begin to see that life has always taken care of us, even in the times we thought we were alone. The same breath that moves through our lungs moves through the entire universe. That is how connected we truly are. Nothing about us exists in isolation. Everything works together in divine harmony. When we live in fear, our bodies feel it. The chest tightens, the breath shortens, the heart races. Fear makes the world seem small and the future threatening. But when we trust, the body opens, the breath deepens, the world feels larger, kinder. This shift is not imaginary. It's real, physical healing. The body mirrors the mind. The more we think peaceful thoughts, the more the body responds with peace. Every thought sends a message through our cells. That is the power of our mind-body connection. When we think with love, our body relaxes. When we think with fear, our body tenses. Healing begins when love becomes the louder voice. Whenever fear rises, use gentle awareness. Place a hand over your heart and say, "I trust the process of life. I am always safe." Let those words become your anchor. Repeat them softly, not to force belief, but to invite it. Over time, the heart begins to listen. The nervous system learns that peace is possible. You may not notice it at first, but slowly, your reactions will change. You'll find yourself calmer in situations that once stirred anxiety. You'll find more ease where there used to be tension. That's the quiet miracle of trust. It transforms us from the inside out. Mirror work can deepen this process. Stand before your reflection, look into your eyes, and say, "I trust the process of life." At first, it might feel unfamiliar, but the eyes will recognize truth when they hear it. With practice, you'll see softness return to your expression. You'll see peace begin to live there. This is not just affirmation. It's reprogramming old beliefs that said control equals safety. In reality, safety equals trust. Life has never stopped supporting you. It only waited for your permission to show it. As trust grows, fear begins to dissolve like mist in morning light. What once felt impossible starts to unfold with ease. The path that once seemed hidden becomes visible. Every act of trust sends a message to the universe. "I am ready to live in peace." And the universe responds. Doors open, synchronicities align, and what was once difficult begins to move effortlessly. That is how powerful inner trust can be. It not only changes how you feel, it changes the reality around you. So breathe deeply, release fear, choose trust. Repeat softly, "I trust the process of life. I am always safe." Let it echo through your being until peace becomes your default state. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize you were never in danger. You were only learning to let love guide you again. When we begin to trust the rhythm of life, something beautiful awakens inside us, a sense of safety that does not depend on what's happening around us. Inner safety is not built by controlling the world. It's born from believing that no matter what happens, we can meet life with peace. It begins when we treat ourselves with kindness instead of criticism, when we offer understanding instead of judgment. The more gently we speak to ourselves, the safer our hearts begin to feel. Peace is not the result of a perfect life. It is the result of a loving relationship with ourselves. It helps to remind the body and mind that it's okay to rest. It's okay not to know. It's okay to pause. When the mind grows restless and tries to fix everything at once, whisper to yourself, "It's safe to be here now." The nervous system listens to these words. The muscles loosen, the breath steadies. Every time we reassure ourselves, we strengthen the bridge between peace and the present moment. This is how inner safety grows. One calm breath, one kind thought, one gentle truth at a time. Peace deepens when we allow ourselves to slow down. You can create small moments each day where you let yourself simply be. It might be sitting in silence for 5 minutes, feeling the rhythm of your breath. It might be watching the sky or listening to soft music without a purpose. These little moments of stillness are not wasted time. They are acts of healing. They tell your soul that you no longer need to chase peace. It's already here. Write down 3 moments today where you can simply be. Perhaps it's a quiet morning with tea, a walk in the evening, or a pause before bed. Let these moments remind you that life is not measured by productivity, but by presence. You deserve to feel safe in your own skin. You deserve to rest in your own company. When you treat yourself as a loving friend, peace becomes your natural state. Gratitude is one of the simplest ways to find peace again. It pulls us out of fear and brings us back into the present where life actually happens. The mind often wanders into the future asking, "What if?" or "When will things be better?" But gratitude says, "Look, peace is already here." It shifts our attention from what is missing to what is already given. Even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. A kind word, a warm bed, a quiet moment of breath. When we notice these things, life begins to soften around us. Gratitude doesn't just change how we think, it changes how we feel. The body relaxes when the mind focuses on blessings instead of fears. The heart expands when it counts what is right instead of what is wrong. Every grateful thought is like sunlight for the soul. You can practice this by listing 5 small things you appreciate each day. They don't need to be grand. Gratitude grows best from simple things: the smell of rain, a gentle breeze, the laughter of someone you love. These are life's whispers of grace, reminding us that peace is always within reach. Affirm softly, "In this moment, I have everything I need." Feel the power in that truth. Peace is not waiting for you in the future. It is right here, breathing with you. When we give thanks for the smallest things, the universe gives us more reasons to be thankful. Gratitude aligns us with abundance, not because it changes life immediately, but because it changes how we see it. What we appreciate appreciates. When we nurture thankfulness, life responds with more harmony. As we grow more grateful, we start to see how life works in perfect cooperation. We understand that even challenges carry hidden gifts. What once felt like a delay now feels like divine timing. Gratitude brings understanding, and understanding brings peace. Through it, control loses its hold, because we no longer need life to be different to feel good. We are already whole. When peace becomes the foundation of our being, we begin to live in harmony with life instead of struggling against it. We realize that life was never meant to be tamed. It was meant to be trusted. Harmony doesn't mean that everything is calm all the time. It means we remain calm inside even when things change outside. It's the difference between being a leaf blown by the wind and being the tree that stays rooted while the wind passes. The world may sway, but our peace can remain steady. Living in harmony means recognizing that life is not something to control, but something to dance with. When we resist, we tire. When we flow, we grow. There's a rhythm to everything: joy and sorrow, beginnings and endings, giving and receiving. When we stop labeling these rhythms as good or bad, we begin to see them as teachers. Every experience becomes part of a sacred balance. Even pain becomes meaningful when we know it will eventually give way to healing. You can begin to align with this harmony by noticing where you're still fighting life. Ask yourself, where am I forcing instead of allowing? When you feel tension, breathe into that space and say, "I choose peace instead of struggle." This simple phrase begins to realign your energy. Harmony enters through acceptance. Acceptance is not resignation, it's wisdom. It's the quiet understanding that everything has its time and place. When we live with that awareness, we start to act from peace, not panic. In this state, relationships become softer, decisions clearer, and intuition louder. You no longer rush ahead of life, you walk beside it. You begin to see beauty even in uncertainty, because you trust that every step is guided. Peace and harmony become not just feelings, but ways of living, a rhythm you carry into every part of your day. As this understanding deepens, you realize that the journey has brought you somewhere extraordinary, back to yourself. You have released the constant need to control, and now there is space for life to move through you freely. You have learned that peace is not found in fixing everything. It is found in trusting that you are already whole. You no longer chase the future for comfort because you have discovered the comfort of the present. Every breath now feels lighter. The heart beats more gently. You can feel that life is on your side. It has always been. Even in moments that felt uncertain, the universe was guiding you toward this awareness. You were never truly lost. You were simply learning to return home to peace. You may close your eyes and affirm softly, I am safe to let go. I am at peace with life. All is well in my world. Let these words wash over you like a soft light. Feel them settle into your being. Each word is a seed of calm, planting peace within you that will bloom more each day. And as you move forward, carry this truth. You were never meant to be in constant control. You were meant to be at peace, a peace that doesn't depend on the world outside, but flows endlessly from the world within. Trust this peace, nurture it, and let it guide you. Life becomes lighter when you live from love, and the universe itself begins to move in harmony with your heart.